we have an assortment of tooling in the art room. We have gold, bronze, red, blue, and green. Most of it has a silver on one side, so silver is another choice. I'm going to go ahead and go with this bronze piece. I'm going to do an experiment with the etching stick, a dull pencil, and a popsicle stick, and see which one of these tools leaves the best mark. And I'm also going to experiment with a newspaper underneath and this red fabric that is kind of soft underneath, and see which one of those two is a better surface underneath the tooling to make a better mark. So I'm going to turn this one into a Zentangle. I'm going to break up the space. I'm going to try the pencil here. And a dull pencil seems to be working pretty good. I'm going to check the this is a little bit sharper than the pencil, and I can feel a difference. And you can see the lines on that side. So if I want my image to be what's pushed out, that is called repousse. And if I want my image to be what's pushed in, that is called chasing. So I'm going to go with my image that is pushed out, and I'm going to do the repousse technique, and then I'm going to glue this down on black paper and use a silver marker to extend the design. Let me see how this pencil, I'm going to go back to this side. I'm going to go all newspaper for this section. And I'm going to go red fabric for this section. I found that the newspaper or the fabric works about the same, and I like the pencil just because it holds better in my hands and it's not as skinny, so it's just a better grip on the pencil, but the tip of the pencil and the stick are about the same. Now I've drawn this Native American here, and I'm going to go with the chasing method, where I want my I'm going to shade, just like I'm shading in an image, the things I want to be dark I'm going to push down, like the hair and the eyes and the neckline. I'm going to push down in those areas, and I'm on a gold surface here, and I've taped this down to the tooling so that it doesn't move around. And so everything I push down, I can rub with India ink and paper towel, and the black ink will sit in the deeper parts of the metal, and the metal that's not pushed down is going to raise up and show the image. So I'm going for this rustic metal look, and it's kind of an experiment, and I'm pretty excited to see what happens. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the Native American. I can go back over any spots I see with my pencil and do a little more indentation work. I drew on the gold side here, and I wanted the reverse to be what shows here. So this one's going to be silver, this one's going to be bronze. Now I'm going to varnish it with some India ink, and this stuff is really hard to wash off, so you got to be careful with this. I'm going to put a little bit of India ink on this white paper towel, maybe a few drops on the metal, and I'm just going to rub it around with the paper towel. Whoops, I'm going to clean that off the side there. Be careful with it. And it's going to make kind of a mess at first, but then I want to get it down in the cracks. And that way we'll emphasize my design. And after it kind of starts to dry a little bit, I will buff it off and clean the surface that's sticking out the most. This one's gonna need a lot, I can tell right now. I want that black to get down in the cracks. I'm gonna let that dry for a little bit. Now I'm going to take clean paper towel and wipe off the surface of this. Finally got an SOS pad for scrubbing off the tooling. So I had the Zentangle one. I engraved on the gold side because I wanted the silver to show up. And after I did the engraving, I used this stick. And after I did the engraving, I rubbed it with India ink. Now I can set it down and kind of buff it with the SOS pad to make the silver show up more. And the black around it will make it look even brighter. So I'm just cleaning the India ink off of the parts that stick up. And the Native American, I wanted the gold to show up with black outlines. So I engraved on the gold side by taping this down and just going over it with a dull pencil. Once I had the image on there, I rubbed this with India ink. I think if I did this SOS sooner and didn't let it dry on there so well, it would be more gold. Now it's probably going to even take off some of the gold because I left the India ink on there too long. I might even try a little bit of water. Yeah, it's even, the SOS is even taking off the gold, so it's looking like the silver.
Wait, so what do I do now?
The silver metal.
What do I do now?
Because the tooling has the gold and the silver, but the SOS is even taking off the gold. And that's because I let the ink sit on there for too long. So you probably want to get the ink off of there in the after like a couple minutes. Let's see if I put a little bit of water on this, if it gets any better.
Bring your trash can over there, girl. Oh, you need the neck?
Kind of, but I want that finger to get through.
The water does help take the ink off more. But basically it's taken off all the gold because the ink is too dry on there. We can take a paper towel.
Do I use a paper towel to get everything off after everything?
And try to clean off the metal a little bit more. So I'm pretty happy with it. I can frame it on construction paper and make it look a lot nicer. And it looks very rustic and kind of antique-ish or old-fashioned-ish. And I'm pretty happy with it. A couple little spots right there. All right, time to frame it up.